Ooh. Peace.
Good day. We're back again on PMB Speaks. And today I want to cover the topic of Brexit. Just my thoughts on Brexit, and maybe gonna hit a little bit on democracy and how things are going. Pretty much just my thoughts on Brexit and the whole thing about voting and another second referendum and what might have happened or should have happened. Yeah. Okay, so pretty much on the Brexit topic, it's been like a crazy mess. Like, just been following what's going on, everything getting voted down, them deciding not to go with. Pretty much they don't want Theresa May's deal, they don't want a no deal Brexit, they don't want all kinds of. They don't want. Well, seemingly they don't want all the options that were tabled last night. They voted on 8. So I don't have a list with me. So, okay, hold it. Okay, I'm back. I just got my. Okay, pull up a news story here quickly. And last night they voted on the following 8 options, or 8 of the 16 motions that were proposed. And they were a no-deal Brexit, a common market or Norway plus, which is, let me explain this, or let's read the summary, which is that the UK stays in the European Economic Area and rejoins the European Trade Association, giving it access to the EU single market. That's Norway's relationship, but this adds a comprehensive customs arrangement to it, hence the Norway plus moniker. Then you've got the Norway option, which is allows access to the Europe, or the UK staying in the European Economic Area and rejoins the European Free Trade Association, giving it single market access. Then you have the Customs Union option, which would to leave the EU having secured a permanent customs union with the bloc at a minimum. And then, but the customs union one, I don't know. It kind of works, but I don't know. Okay. Then you had Labour's Brexit plan, which the official Labour proposal to back the withdrawal agreement that Prime Minister Theresa May has negotiated in return for her seeking a customs union with the EU, a close alignment with the single market, and a close relationship to other institutions. Then there was the no deal emergency break, a process amendment. This would require a confirmatory vote in Parliament if the UK got to within 2 days of a no deal Brexit. The second referendum, that's having the public vote again to see if they want to do Brexit or if they want to cancel Brexit. And then the Malthouse Plan B. This is the other part of the so-called Malthouse Compromise, which says that if Plan A doesn't work, if Plan A wasn't voted on yesterday, doesn't work, the UK should seek a standstill agreement with the EU while a border trade deal is negotiated. Pretty much you'll see from the 8 deals they voted on yesterday, no one seems really too sure of how to get out of the EU properly, or obviously there's a lot of people who don't want to leave the EU, which I think is kind of a risky option, because the EU knows now that people, there's a wish to leave the EU from a couple of countries, so they might make an example of the UK even if they stay, and that they could mess them up even more with just laws and regulations and making it hard for UK companies to do business. and maybe lose more fishing rights or whatever, just to hammer the point home to make sure no one else tries this in the future. So yeah, and in some ways this is like a test of democracy in a way, although okay, well, yeah, the second referendum is, yeah, well, I mean, because people voted to leave, so technically they should have just got on with things back then and been out by now. But they didn't, so now we're at the stage where we've got less than a few days to go till the original date. Okay, well, actually we have one day till they're supposed to be leaving tomorrow, but now that's been extended. And yeah, like, so the second referendum thing, I don't even think they got time for that because, yeah, so in a way, they failed to respect the democracy earlier, and now they're paying the price for the delay because if they'd just got on with things, then we wouldn't have the situation. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, just like uh, most of the people who've been in situations where they've had to push this forward haven't been too keen. Like, I do believe Theresa May voted against Brexit, but then because Brexit was the people's choice, she was like, okay, well, the people have spoken, I've got to follow out what the people want to do. And yeah, so we had a referendum called. The Prime Minister said, okay, let's put it to the people, because he expected them to say no. But then they said, yes, we do want to leave the EU, and he resigned, which is kind of like messed up. But okay, obviously he didn't want to lead, but in a way I find it's like people are starting to chicken out now because they're realizing how hard the situation is, and they're just like, nope, I'm resigning. So he resigned, then Theresa May came in eventually to try run things and take or negotiate a Brexit deal and so on and so forth. And then now you've got Theresa May who wants to resign because, well, yeah, because, okay, well, I'm pretty sure she's sick of all this by now. But the fact that she's choosing to resign is kind of messed up because now, like, basically, okay, when they called for the referendum, they started the mess, right? Then when they realized there was a mess, they quit. Now Theresa May's got to the point where she's like, okay, this is a royal mess, and she's sick and tired of having to handle it, so she's going to quit, which isn't cool because that means now you're going to have, yeah, well, it's going to be, that's it. Like, she's going to quit and kick the bucket, and someone else is going to have to take over. And yeah, I mean, like, basically, this is a really bad way to do politics, and it's really risky because it's just pushing things on to the next person, and eventually we're going to end up with a situation where everything's a mess, and the politicians who caused it will be, well, living it up somewhere wherever they are, writing books and making tons of money about how they messed everything up. And the people will be stuck with the situation that's going on. So, yeah, pretty much, I don't know, leave or not leave. Okay, well, leaving has its pros and cons, staying has its pros and cons. And yeah, I don't know, because in a way I think this could also be like a big social experiment by whoever the powers that be are to see what happens, because like, if you think about it, in South Africa here, you've got some people who want to break off and create their own country, break away from the control of the government. In America, I think there was one or two states that wanted to split off from America and become like a separate independent country. In Europe, there's countries wanting to leave and so on and so forth. So, in a way, I think this might be the powers that be trying like a social experiment or an experiment to see, wait, can this actually happen? and how do we scare people or put this fear factor in so that in future nobody else is going to want to risk these things, because it's just not, because people are scared of what's going to happen and they're scared of the suffering and all this stuff. So it's like they've kind of set it up to fail, and so whichever way it goes, I think it's going to be painful. Like, even if they stay, I think it's not going to be the smoothest ride ever, because now, you're going to have people angry with them, or not angry, but just people who have a negative take on the UK remaining in the EU and receiving more benefits or better deals or anything like that. So wait and see what happens. This is Brexit. It's quite interesting. It's although you can never really predict what's going to happen, because this is where politics and logic have kind of missed the same bus. So politics is on one and logic's on the other. Anyways, hope you enjoyed my thoughts on this, and leave your comments and whatever there. Please subscribe or not, it's totally up to you. And I'll be back with more thoughts on something else as soon as I think of what to talk about, or get inspired by the news or whatever. Anyways, this is me, PMB Talks, signing off. Thanks for following, and thanks for listening.
PMB.